What started as a sweet Christmas present turned into a fight for survival before midnight. Welcome to Royal Beat Tales. If you are just seeing us for the first time, please subscribe, like, and comment for more unique stories. Hannah was an 18-year-old girl from a rich family. She had bright eyes and a warm smile. It was Christmas time, and Hannah returned home with her parents to celebrate. They lived in a big, beautiful house in their hometown. Hannah was very happy to be back. She was excited to see the town's Christmas lights and decorations. One evening, out of excitement, she decided to take a walk around town by herself to see everything. Hannah had no idea that something strange was waiting for her in the quiet streets. As Hannah strolled through the town, a woman's voice called out, "Hannah!" She turned to see a well-dressed older woman waving at her. The woman wore a fancy coat and shiny jewelry. Hannah was surprised that this stranger knew her name. The woman smiled warmly and said, "You probably don't remember me, dear. I am your aunt from your mother's side." Hannah relaxed when she heard this. The woman even knew Hannah's parents' names, which made Hannah trust her more. The rich-looking lady opened her car and took out a wrapped Christmas present. "I have a gift for you," she said kindly. Hannah unwrapped it and found a large, soft teddy bear about the size of a pillow. It was cute and fluffy. Overjoyed, Hannah thanked the woman for the lovely gift. She hugged the teddy bear close as the woman waved goodbye. Hannah had no idea that behind the woman's friendly smile was an evil plan to hurt her family. Hannah returned home carrying the big teddy bear. Her mother noticed it right away. "Where did you get that bear, honey?" her mother asked, curious. "A nice lady gave it to me as a Christmas gift," Hannah replied with a smile. "She said she is my aunt from your side of the family." Hannah's mother frowned in confusion. She tried to remember any such relative. "My side of the family. Which aunt is that?" she asked. Hannah realized she couldn't remember the woman's name. I'm not sure," Hannah admitted softly. "I'll tell you when I remember." Her mother's face grew worried. She knew of no unknown sister or aunt who would show up suddenly. They exchanged uneasy glances, but Hannah hugged her new teddy bear and seemed happy. Hannah's mother felt a chill of worry deep inside. Something about this surprise aunt and her gift did not feel right at all. The next few days passed and the family tried to enjoy the holiday. Hannah was very fond of her new teddy bear. She kept it by her side all day and hugged it close each night when she went to sleep. The bear had shiny black button eyes and a stitched smile. It looked sweet and harmless. But on a silent night, something strange happened in Hannah's room. As the whole house slept, the teddy bear in Hannah's arms began to move. Its soft fur rippled, and its shape began to change in the darkness. The plush toy stretched and grew into the form of a big black cat. The cat's eyes glowed faintly as it jumped off Hannah's bed. Hannah remained fast asleep, unaware of what was happening. The black cat slipped quietly out of her bedroom door and crept into the dark hallway. None of the family knew that an uninvited guest was now prowling through their home in the dead of night. In the morning, Hannah and her parents woke up to a big mess. The family kitchen was completely scattered and dirty. Jars of food were knocked over and broken. Flour and rice covered the floor. Fruits lay half-eaten and spoiled. It looked as if a wild animal had run wild through their pantry during the night. Hannah's mother gasped at the sight. "What on earth happened here?" she cried, shocked. Hannah's father checked the windows and doors. All were closed and locked. He shook his head in confusion. "How did an animal even get inside?" he muttered. The family worked together to clean up the kitchen, but they were all very worried. They wondered if some creature was sneaking in at night. They had no idea what had caused this mess. Unfortunately, this strange event was only the beginning of their nightmare. The very next day brought an even more horrible discovery. The family had been keeping a few fat hens in their backyard for the Christmas feast. That morning, Hannah and her father stepped outside and froze in shock. The birds lay dead around the yard. Feathers were scattered everywhere. It was a terrible sight. The chickens had been killed and partly eaten during the night. Hannah covered her mouth in horror. Her father's face turned pale. It was clear that the same strange creature had returned, and this time it attacked their animals. "This is not just a small pest," Hannah's father said quietly. "Something dangerous is out there." They hurried back inside, heartbroken and scared. The family realized that a dangerous intruder was stalking their home at night. They grew more afraid, wondering what would happen next if the creature was not stopped. That night, Hannah had trouble sleeping. Every noise made her sit up and listen. Sometime around midnight, she awoke with a start. The room felt strangely cold. She reached out in the dark for her teddy bear, but it was not there. Hannah's heart began to pound. She always slept with the teddy right next to her, but now it was missing. Feeling uneasy, Hannah got up and tiptoed to the window. She gently pushed aside the curtain and peeked outside. In the pale moonlight, she saw a dark shape sitting on the fence around their compound. It was a large black cat, the same size as the one that could have killed their chickens. The cat's eyes glowed red in the night as it stared straight at her. Hannah gasped and stumbled back from the window, her heart pounding with fear. The cat made no sound, but its stare sent chills down her spine. Hannah shut her window quickly and hid under her blankets, trembling. She tried to calm down and convince herself it was just a normal stray cat. Deep down, she felt something was very wrong. In the darkness, Hannah shivered in fear, not knowing that the true nightmare was only just beginning. In the morning light, everything seemed normal again. Hannah woke up in her bed and found the teddy bear lying right beside her, just where it should be. She picked it up slowly, her hands trembling a little. The bear looked perfectly ordinary and innocent. Was it all just a bad dream? At breakfast, Hannah told her father that she had seen a big black cat sitting on their fence the night before. Her father looked at her mother in alarm. "That must be the creature causing all this trouble," he said with a sigh. He decided to double-check all the doors and windows again, and even thought about setting a trap outside. Hannah nodded, but she still felt uneasy. She remembered how her teddy bear was strangely missing in the middle of the night. She couldn't explain it, but something about the toy felt off now. Hannah kept these thoughts to herself, not wanting to sound silly. She held the teddy on her lap, examining its button eyes. It just stared back with a stitched smile. Neither Hannah nor her father realized that the true evil was already inside their home, quietly watching them and waiting for the next night. Another night arrived, and the family went to bed nervously. Hannah's father even kept a flashlight and a stick by the bed, just in case. Late that night, Hannah's mother suddenly felt something odd. She was asleep, but she sensed a heavy weight pressed down on her chest. In her dream, it felt like she was being crushed. She struggled to breathe and tried to cry out. With great effort, she forced her eyes open. To her horror, she saw a big black cat perched right on top of her. Its paws pushed on her chest, and its eyes glowed like tiny red lights in the dark. Hannah's mother gasped in fright. She tried to scream, and the cat leapt off her and dashed out of the bedroom door in a blur. Her scream finally escaped, and Hannah's father woke up at once. He grabbed his flashlight and ran into the hallway, trying to find the animal. But the hall was empty and silent. Hannah woke up too and peeked out of her room in confusion. They searched the house high and low, but the black cat was nowhere to be found. That night, Hannah's mother sat up trembling, with her heart pounding. She felt weak and breathless, as if the cat had stolen some of her strength. The family was very shaken. The evil creature had invaded the safety of their bedrooms, and they had no idea how to stop it. The following night, everyone was on edge. Hannah's mother was scared to sleep after the last attack. She tried to stay awake, but in the deep hours of the night, exhaustion overcame her. As she finally drifted into restless sleep, the black cat returned. This time it moved even more silently. The cat crept onto the bed and placed a paw gently on Hannah's mother's forehead. A faint hiss filled the room as the cat's paw seemed to glow for a second. Hannah's mother did not wake up during this strange moment. After a minute, the cat slipped away into the shadows and disappeared once more. By morning, a terrible change had taken place. Hannah went to check on her mother at sunrise. To her shock, her mother looked at her with blank, cold eyes. "Who are you? What are you doing in my house?" her mother screamed at Hannah. Hannah's heart dropped. "Mom, it's me, Hannah," she cried, reaching out. But her mother did not recognize her own daughter. Hearing the commotion, Hannah's father rushed in. The moment Hannah's mother saw her husband, she backed away in fear, as if he were a stranger too. She had forgotten both of them overnight. Hannah's mother began to shout and cry, terrified of her own family. Hannah and her father tried to calm her, but she wouldn't listen. They finally gently guided her back into her bedroom and locked the door to keep her from hurting herself or running away. Hannah and her father stood in the hallway, pale and trembling. It felt like they were living a nightmare. The evil force in their home had stolen Hannah's mother's mind. Their family was being torn apart, and they still had no idea how to stop it. Hannah and her father sat together in their large living room, trying to think of what to do. They could hear cheerful sounds of people in the distance preparing for New Year celebrations, but inside their house it was quiet and grim. Hannah's mother was locked safely in her room, still not herself. Hannah's eyes filled with tears. "Dad, why is this happening to us?" she whispered. Her father shook his head in despair. Then his gaze fell on the teddy bear, which lay on the coffee table. His eyes narrowed. "Everything started after that gift came into our home," he said slowly. Hannah realized he was right. The strange woman, the so-called aunt, had appeared from nowhere and given her the teddy. And then all the bad things began. "Mom told me she has no sister like that," Hannah said softly. "So that woman lied. She knew our names. What if she did something to this bear?" Hannah's father picked up the teddy bear carefully. It looked so innocent, but now it felt different. "This could be a cursed object," he muttered. "Maybe that woman is some kind of witch. She wants to destroy our family. Perhaps she wants to hurt us before the new year comes." Hannah shuddered. Everything finally made sense. Hannah and her father realized they had to act quickly. "We need to get rid of this teddy bear right now," her father said firmly. Hannah nodded in agreement. They didn't know if it would save her mother or stop the evil, but they had to try something. They knew they had to act fast to save their family before it was too late. Without wasting another minute, Hannah and her father grabbed the teddy bear and rushed out of the house. They drove out of town to a quiet, icy river that flowed under a small bridge. The winter sky was gray as they stopped the car by the riverbank. Hannah's father took a deep breath. "Let's finish this," he said. Together they walked to the edge of the river. Hannah felt her heart pounding as she held the teddy bear one last time. It was hard to believe that this soft toy had brought so much misery. With a firm look, Hannah's father took the bear and hurled it into the rushing river. They watched as the teddy bear hit the cold water with a splash. The current was strong, and the bear was quickly swept away downstream. Within moments, the gift from the strange woman was out of sight. Hannah let out a sigh of relief. She reached over and squeezed her father's hand. He managed a small, hopeful smile. "I pray that it ends," he said quietly. They got back into the car and headed home, feeling lighter than they had in days. They truly believed they had thrown away the evil along with the teddy bear. But unknown to them, the nightmare was not over yet. That very night would test their family more than ever before. That night was New Year's Eve. Hannah and her father were very tired, but they stayed awake until midnight. They hoped the danger was gone now that the teddy bear was thrown away. As it was almost midnight, Hannah went to her bedroom to grab a sweater. She opened her door and froze. There, sitting right on her bed, was the teddy bear. The very same teddy bear they had tossed into the river earlier was now back in her room, completely dry and clean. Hannah's blood ran cold, and she let out a sharp gasp. How was this possible? Her father heard her shocked cry and rushed down the hallway to her. He stared in disbelief at the toy on the bed. It was like seeing a ghost. Before either of them could speak, a strange noise drifted through the quiet house. It was coming from the living room downstairs, a soft humming sound like someone softly singing a Christmas song under their breath. Hannah and her father looked at each other in alarm. They knew only one person should be in the house with them, and she was locked in her bedroom. Heart pounding, Hannah's father held her hand tightly. Together they crept toward the living room to find out who or what was making that sound. Hannah and her father peered into the living room, and what they saw made their skin crawl. Hannah's mother was standing there in the dim light, humming a slow Christmas tune. Around her on the floor and furniture prowled at least 10 large black cats. Some sat by her feet, and others perched on the sofa and shelves. All of them were staring at Hannah and her father with wild, glowing eyes. Hannah's mother turned her head toward them. Her eyes were no longer the gentle eyes they knew. They gleamed a terrible red, just like the cat's eyes. Her face was twisted in an angry glare. It was clear that she was not herself. She looked like a puppet being controlled by pure evil. One by one, the cats began to hiss and growl, stepping forward to surround Hannah's mother as if guarding her. Hannah's father felt a sudden fear. He raised the kitchen knife in his shaking hand. He did not want to hurt his wife, but this wasn't really her in front of them. "Stay back," he warned with a trembling voice. Hannah's mother only responded with a chilling laugh that was not her own. Suddenly, all the cats sprang toward Hannah and her father, claws out and teeth bared. Hannah and her father screamed and stumbled backwards. They slammed the living room door shut to block the swarm of cats. Then they ran as fast as they could back to Hannah's bedroom and locked the door behind them. Outside, they heard angry scratching and thumping as the cats gathered, trying to get in. Hannah's heart raced. They were trapped in her room, with only a thin door between them and the angry creatures. It felt like the end was near, and they had only moments left to act. Hannah and her father pressed their backs against the bedroom door, trying to block out the furious scratching from the cats outside. The wooden door shook under the force of the animals. Hannah's father gripped the knife, ready to defend his daughter. Hannah's eyes darted around her room in panic and landed on the teddy bear sitting on her bed. The teddy bear's black button eyes seemed to stare blankly at the chaos. In that moment, Hannah realized the evil always centered around this toy. The witch's power was tied to the teddy bear. Destroying it might be their only chance. "Dad, give me the knife," Hannah said urgently. Her father looked unsure, but he handed it to her. Hannah took the sharp knife, her hands shaking but her grip firm. She ran to the teddy bear on the bed. "Please let this work," she whispered to herself. With all her strength, Hannah began to stab the teddy bear over and over. She drove the knife into the stuffed toy again and again, tearing it open, white stuffing flying out. Suddenly, a horrific scream filled the house. It was not the scream of a cat or a person, but something inhuman and painful. The sound was so loud and terrible that Hannah and her father dropped to their knees, covering their ears. As it died away, the banging and scratching at the door stopped completely. An eerie silence fell over the house, as if nothing had ever been there. Hannah and her father looked at each other, still shaking. Everything was quiet. The evil presence was gone. But had their desperate act truly worked? Hannah slowly got to her feet, and her father stood up beside her. The silence in the house felt strange after all that noise and fear. Hannah walked to the window and peeked outside. Not a single cat was in the yard now. It was as if they had never been there. The night was calm and cold, and in the distance some faint sounds of New Year fireworks could be heard as the clock passed midnight. They had made it into the new year. Hannah turned back to her room and saw something on her bed that made her gasp. An elderly woman lay there, completely still. It was the same lady who had given her the teddy bear. Her face was pale and her eyes were closed. She wasn't breathing. Blood stained her dress where Hannah had stabbed the teddy bear. Right before their eyes, the old woman's body began to disappear. In moments, she vanished completely, leaving behind only a few clumps of stuffing on the sheets. A gentle knock on the bedroom door broke the silence. Hannah and her father tensed for a second. Then they heard the sweetest sound. "Hannah, is everything okay?" It was Hannah's mother's voice, normal and confused. Hannah's father quickly unlocked and opened the door. There stood her mother, looking tired and puzzled, but with her kind eyes again. "Mom," Hannah cried, throwing her arms around her. Hannah's mother hugged her back tightly. She was confused by what had happened, but she knew she was safe now with her family. Hannah and her father held her close, tears of relief in their eyes. The nightmare that had threatened to destroy their family was finally over. It was just a few minutes past midnight on New Year's Day. They had survived and were together to welcome the new year. Outside, fireworks lit up the winter sky. Inside, the family held each other, grateful and hopeful. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, like, and comment for more unique stories.